Have you ever asked yourself why some people age with energy, clarity, and strength, while others begin to feel weighed down by time far too soon? I'm 51 years old, and if there's one thing life has taught me, it's that what we put on our plate today writes the story of our body tomorrow. The truth is, food is not just fuel. It is information. Every bite tells your cells how to behave, whether to heal or to break down. And at my age, I can tell you with absolute conviction, I owe my vitality not to luck, but to consistency. I don't believe in fad diets or chasing the next miracle cure. Instead, I focus on foods that have stood the test of time, foods that cultures, science, and experience all point to as powerful allies for a long, healthy life. Let me share with you the 5 foods I always eat and why they matter so deeply. First, beans. They may not look glamorous, but they are the unsung heroes of longevity. Packed with plant protein, fiber, and minerals, beans keep blood sugar steady and digestion strong. In The Blue Zones, a book exploring the world's longest living communities, beans appear again and again as a cornerstone of daily meals. I make them a staple not because they're trendy, but because they work. Second, leafy greens. Spinach, kale, arugula. These are the protectors of my heart and brain. They're loaded with antioxidants that fight off the silent damage aging brings. Whenever I eat them, I feel like I'm giving my body armor against time itself. Third, nuts. Just a handful a day supplies healthy fats, protein, and minerals that keep my heart beating strong. Almonds and walnuts in particular are small but mighty. They are nature's reminder that the simplest things are often the most powerful. Fourth, berries. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. They're not just delicious, they're medicinal. Berries sharpen memory, protect cells, and keep inflammation in check. At 51, I don't just want to live long, I want to stay sharp. Berries help me do that. And finally, fish, especially salmon and sardines, rich in omega-3 fatty acids. They support brain health, ease inflammation, and protect the cardiovascular system. In a world where so much food takes energy away from us, fish gives it back. But let me be clear, it's not about perfection. I still enjoy variety. I still savor meals with family. And I still understand the joy of a sweet treat. The difference is that these 5 foods are non-negotiable in my life. They build a foundation strong enough to carry me forward, no matter what the years bring. Food is not just science, it's memory, culture, and gratitude. Every time I eat these foods, I remind myself that health is not an accident, it's a choice. And it's a choice we make 3 times a day, every day, with every meal. At 51, my goal is not just to add years to my life, it's to add life to my years. And the 5 foods I've shared with you today are my way of saying yes to energy, to strength, to clarity, and to the future. Have you ever wondered why 2 people of the same age can look and feel completely different? One seems to move with energy, their mind sharp and their body strong, while the other seems older than their years, tired, sluggish, weighed down. The difference is not just genetics or fate, More often than not, it's food. Every choice we make in the kitchen becomes a deposit or a withdrawal in the bank of our health. I've seen it in patients, I've seen it in colleagues, and I've lived it myself. When I say food shapes healthy aging, I'm not talking about extreme diets or eliminating entire food groups. I'm talking about using food as a tool, a daily practice that speaks directly to our biology. The nutrients in what we eat tell our cells how to function. They can either encourage inflammation, disease, and fatigue, or they can encourage repair, balance, and vitality. Imagine every bite as a tiny instruction to your body. Heal or harm. Over time, those tiny instructions accumulate, and suddenly, you find yourself at 50, 60, or 70 either thriving or struggling. Science backs this up. Studies across the globe show that the longest living populations don't eat exotic superfoods. They eat simple, consistent, nutrient-rich meals that fuel their bodies the right way. In many cases, they don't even think about it. It's just culture. It's just habit. That's what makes the difference. Food isn't a magic bullet, but it is the foundation, the soil in which every part of our health grows. I've come to realize that when we treat food as medicine, aging stops being something we fear. It becomes something we can guide, something we can shape. At 51, I don't ask, how do I stop aging? I ask, how do I age well? And the first answer always begins with the plate in front of me. So often, when we talk about health, we talk about what we should cut out, what we should deny ourselves, what we should avoid at all costs. Entire industries thrive on telling us we can't have bread, we can't have rice, we can't touch sugar, we can't eat past 7 o'clock. And while those rules may bring quick results in the short term, they rarely hold up for a lifetime. Why? Because restriction builds resistance. When we tell ourselves we can't have something, our mind begins to want it more. The forbidden food becomes louder in our thoughts than the foods that actually nourish us. Eventually, willpower cracks, and we fall back into the very habits we tried to escape. That's why I believe the right diet matters more than strict restriction. The right diet doesn't feel like a prison. It doesn't fill you with guilt every time you take a bite of something outside the rules. Instead, it feels like a rhythm, a way of eating that supports you naturally, so much so that you don't have to think about it. It's not about saying no forever. It's about saying yes consistently to the foods that help you thrive. I've seen countless people walk through my practice doors with the same story. They tried the strict low-carb diet, the juice cleans, the intermittent fast stretched to extremes. And yes, maybe they lost weight for a month or two. Maybe they even felt a rush of energy in the beginning. But as time went on, the body pushed back. Fatigue set in, cravings returned, moods dipped. And most importantly, joy disappeared from their relationship with food. What's the point of a diet that robs you of the simple pleasure of sitting down to eat? Food is meant to be nourishment, but also culture, connection, memory. When restriction strips that away, it can never last. The right diet, on the other hand, isn't about perfection. It's about alignment. It aligns with your biology, your lifestyle, your values. If you build your plate around whole, vibrant foods, vegetables, fruits, legumes, healthy fats, lean proteins, you create a system that takes care of you without the constant mental battle. You no longer think, what can I have? But instead, what can I add that will serve me today? That small shift changes everything. There's a phrase I often use with my patients: addition over subtraction. If you keep adding nutrient-rich foods into your daily life, over time, the less supportive foods begin to fall away naturally. You don't need to ban sugar for life, because if you're already eating beans, greens, nuts, berries, and fish consistently, you simply won't crave processed sweets in the same way. Your taste buds adjust, your body learns what real fuel feels like, and balance replaces obsession. I've lived this truth myself. At 51, I know my body better than ever before. I know that if I eat leafy greens daily, my energy feels steady. I know that if I get enough fiber and plant protein, my digestion thanks me. And yes, I know that if I eat heavy, fried food at night, I'll wake up sluggish. But instead of beating myself up when I make that choice, I simply return to my foundation the next day. There is freedom in that kind of diet. Freedom because you're not trapped by rules, but guided by wisdom. Books like Intuitive Eating highlight this beautifully. They remind us that health isn't just about nutrients. It's also about our relationship with food. A diet built on fear and shame damages that relationship. A diet built on trust and consistency strengthens it. And trust me, your body feels the difference. When you focus on the right diet instead of restriction, something else remarkable happens. Your mind clears. You stop carrying the constant burden of guilt, and that mental space is freed for things that actually matter: your family, your purpose, your growth. I've seen people cry in my office, not because they're sick, but because they're exhausted from battling their own food rules. And when they finally let go of restriction and embrace balance, it's like chains falling off. So why does the right diet matter more? Because health is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Restriction might get you across the first mile, but it won't carry you through the next 20. The right diet, built on consistency, variety, and nourishment, is the kind of fuel that lasts. And when you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, that sustainability is everything. Imagine this: a life where eating feels effortless, where your meals give you strength instead of stealing it, where you sit at a table and feel gratitude instead of anxiety. That's what the right diet gives. And it's not only about adding years to your life. It's about adding joy to those years. Because what good is a long life if you spend it fearing every bite? Restriction is about fear. The right diet is about freedom. Restriction asks, what must I deny? The right diet asks, what can I embrace? And when you choose to embrace the foods that serve you, your body, your mind, and your spirit align in a way that restriction could never achieve. And that's why, at 51, I no longer count calories or chase diet trends. I choose to live in alignment. I choose a way of eating that doesn't make me feel like I'm missing out, but instead reminds me, meal after meal, that I'm adding something to my life: strength, clarity, vitality. When I look back at the years I've spent studying medicine and working with patients, one truth rises above all the rest. Simple. Everyday foods often do more to heal the body than the most advanced treatments. Of course, medicine saves lives, and I would never discount the power of modern science. But when it comes to preventing disease, slowing down aging, and strengthening the body from within, the quiet, consistent power of food is unmatched. Hippocrates, often called the father of medicine, said, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." Over 2,000 years later, that wisdom has only grown stronger. We tend to think of medicine as something that comes in a bottle, something prescribed, something manufactured in a lab. But every time you pick up a piece of fruit, every time you add garlic to a dish, every time you sit down with a plate of beans, you are prescribing something to yourself. The question is, are you prescribing healing? Or are you prescribing harm? Everyday foods, the ones we often overlook, carry compounds that no pill can replicate in the same way. Antioxidants, phytochemicals, fibers, and healthy fats. They are nature's pharmacy, available to us 3 times a day. Take garlic, for example. It's humble, inexpensive, almost ordinary. Yet garlic contains compounds that reduce blood pressure, lower cholesterol, and strengthen the immune system. I've had patients who took more supplements than I could count, yet ignored the power of adding a few cloves of garlic to their meals each week. When they shifted toward real food, their numbers improved, not by magic, but by the body responding to what it was designed to receive. Or think about oats. A bowl of oats in the morning may not seem impressive, but within those grains lies soluble fiber that helps lower cholesterol, regulate blood sugar, and feed healthy gut bacteria. That's not just breakfast. That's medicine disguised as comfort food. Every spoonful is sending signals to your body: keep the heart healthy, keep the arteries clear, keep the energy stable. And unlike medication, it comes with no harsh side effects, no fine print warnings, just steady nourishment. Berries are another perfect example. Those deep blues, reds, and purples are not just for beauty. They signal antioxidants, molecules that protect your cells from oxidative stress, the kind of stress that accelerates aging and disease. When you eat a handful of blueberries, you're essentially giving your body a shield, an army of defenders that fight on your behalf. People spend fortunes chasing anti-aging creams, but the real anti-aging secrets are found in nature's produce aisle. Beans and lentils may be even more powerful than most people realize. They regulate blood sugar, lower the risk of heart disease, and provide plant-based protein that supports muscle strength as we age. In places where people live the longest, communities studied in the blue zones, Beans are a daily ritual. They're not exotic, they're not expensive, but they work. They nourish the gut. They steady energy. And they fill the body with fiber that most of us desperately lack. If you told me I had to choose between a trendy supplement and a simple bowl of beans for longevity, I would choose the beans every single time. Even spices, often used just for flavor, are loaded with healing power. Turmeric, with its golden hue, contains curcumin, a compound with anti-inflammatory properties so potent it rivals certain medications. Cinnamon helps regulate blood sugar. Ginger calms digestion. These are not just seasonings. They are daily doses of medicine handed to us by nature, wrapped in flavor and aroma. And then there are leafy greens. Spinach, kale, arugula, collard greens. They are nature's multivitamin, rich in vitamins A, C, K folate, iron, calcium, and a host of phytochemicals. Greens keep our blood clean, our bones strong, and our immune system alert. When I eat a plate of greens, I know I'm not just filling my stomach. I'm sending messages to my cells: repair, protect, thrive. That is the language of food, and the body listens carefully. What's so beautiful about everyday foods as medicine is that they don't just treat one symptom or one part of the body. A drug may target cholesterol or blood sugar or blood pressure, but a single food like broccoli can do all three and more. It's not one-dimensional, it's holistic. Food doesn't see the body in parts, it sees the body as a whole system.